So, healthy relationships have God at the center. Now, the second thing it says here is, what do healthy guy-girl relationships look like? What do healthy dating relationships look like? And then it says, understand the unique differences between men and women. Are you aware there are differences between men and women?
Yeah.
Wait, I would assume you have figured that out by now. Rather than explain this myself, I'm going to turn it over to a man named Mark Gungor. He is a speaker, and this particular clip is from a marriage seminar, but I think you'll get it. And he is going to talk about the difference between some differences between men and women. So this is about a 13-minute clip, and we'll watch this and we'll come back. Enjoy it. He's quite funny.
We're starting discussing men's brains, women's brains.
We have spaghetti and waffles.
Yep.
Okay, I feel like that's nice.
Y'all know I'm recording,
I
right?
feel like
Your conversation.
What was it? Microwaves and crock pots. Microwaves and crock
I
pots.
take it in a certain way. I feel like it's nice.
Here we go. Ready?
I want to start with men's brains. All right, now men's brains are very unique. Men's brains are made up of little boxes. And we have a box for everything. We got a box for money, we got a box for the job, we got a box for you, we got a box for the kids, we got a box for your mother somewhere in the basement. We got boxes everywhere. And the rule is, the boxes don't touch. When a man discusses a particular subject, we go to that particular box. We pull that box out. We open the box. We discuss only what is in that box. All right? And then we close the box and put it away, being very, very careful not to touch any other boxes. Sorry, my Catholic upbringing got in there for a minute, I'm not a Catholic, but I went to Catholic school when I was little. I had a nun who taught on hell like she was born and raised there. I mean, I'll never forget. But actually, it was a good friend. Now, women's brains are very, very different from men's brains. Women's brains are made up of a big ball of light. And everything is connected to everything. Money's connected to the car's connected to your job, and your kids are connected to your mother, and everything's connected to everything. like the internet superhighway. And it's all driven by energy that we call evil. It's one of the reasons why women tend to remember everything. Because if you take an event and you connect it to an emotion, it burns in your memory and you can remember it forever. The same thing happens for men. It just doesn't happen very often because, quite frankly, we don't care. Women tend to care about everything. And she just loves it. Okay. Now, men, we have a box in our brain that most women are not aware of. This particular box has nothing in it. In fact, we call it the nothing box. And of all the boxes a man has in his brain, the nothing box is our favorite box. If a man has a chance, he'll go to his nothing box every time. That's why a man can do something seemingly completely brain dead for hours on end. You know, like fishing. And we love it. That's why a guy can sit in front of a TV and go. Close. This drives our wives nuts because they'll come up and say, "Stop it! You can't possibly be watching anything!" I'm not. Go away. Now, I've actually measured this. The University of Pennsylvania a couple of years ago did a study and discovered that men have the ability to think about absolutely nothing and still breathe. You know, they connected all the wires and stuff like that, watch the brain activity, and all of a sudden, I think he's dead! Huh? Women can't do it. They can't do it. Their mind just never stops. And they don't understand the nothing box. And it drives them crazy. Because nothing drives a woman more crazy or makes her feel more irritated than to witness a man doing nothing. One of the biggest revelations I get out of women is this whole nothing box issue. They just starting to make sense. And I've had women say, "Oh, it's nothing. What? Can I go in as nothing?" And one of the biggest revelations I get out of women is this whole nothing box issue. They just everything's starting to make sense. And I've had women say, "Oh, it's nothing. What? Can I go in as nothing box with him?" No! Why not? Because they're Besides, he'll walk in there and go, this place could really use some pictures. Nice little table over here, some flowers. No! Dolly, get out! What about Dolly? This handles the way men and women handle stress. Okay? When a man is stressed out, all he wants to do is run to his nothing. This is how we unwind. The last thing we want to do when we're stressed out is talk. We don't want to talk, man. We just. Because it just drives you nuts. A woman will see a man in that vegetative state, jerk him out and go, what you thinking about? Nothing. We got anything about so bad? Honestly, about nothing. Like that's on the rolls and you showed up. Go away. Alright? Because that's how we handle stress. You just Now when a woman is stressed out, she has to talk about it. If she doesn't talk about it, her brain will literally explode. So she'll start to what has to do with this? Not what happened to you. I never thought about this. I thought you and I know men who run from their wives when they do this. I said, well, why do you run from her? He says, because I don't know what to tell her. Dear God, I didn't want you to tell her anything. Anything? See, a lot of guys, they feel obligated when you start explaining all your stress, they feel obligated to fix you. Because that's what a man does. A man only tells his troubles to another man in hopes that that man will help fix it. Okay? But she's not a man. And you try and fix her, she's gonna kill you. She doesn't want your advice. She doesn't want your help. She wants you to shut up and listen. They like that. I had one guy tell me, he said, just tell me how she feels. I said, she doesn't know yet. So what it is, that's how she figures out how she feels by connecting this one and that. Now, because they love each other, they offer to each other their answer, their solution. A man senses his wife is stressed out. He loves the girl. He offers to the girl his best and finest solution. Oh, no. Nothing. We're just talking about it. Just quit thinking about it. And that's when she starts reaching for the knife. To keep it up, okay? Now, a woman, she senses her husband's off. She loves him. Therefore, he offers him, her, and finest solution. Go away. He doesn't want to talk to you. Leave him alone. He will not die. He's not a woman. I know you've got to talk it through. You're going to be twisted inside. He's not like that. Leave the boy alone until he's stressed out. Just let him go to his nothing box.
Now, obviously, those are generalizations. But they are generally. So I'm gonna tell you a couple of things. I'm gonna talk about a couple of things, and then we'll watch another short video as well. So, years ago, Jeff told me that when he was a teenager, he had posters in his room. All teenagers did that. And one of his posters, when he told me what the poster said, I was like, "You're kidding me," because I remember that poster, and I remember thinking, that is the stupidest poster I've ever seen. And here is what the poster said. Sometimes I sits and thinks, and sometimes I just sits.
Yes.
Nothing box. And it made no sense. Why would you just sit? Why would you, that doesn't make any sense to me. But that's his nothing box. And he definitely has a nothing box. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 words that helped our marriage very much. It took me a while to figure out that there were real differences between Jeff and me in terms of how we approached things and how we dealt with stress and all those things. And I didn't understand sometimes. Like, for example, I'll give you an example. Josh was 3, I think, and he was, I'm sorry if I've told you this sometime over the last 4 years, he was watching Barney, and I needed to go use the restroom really fast, and so I was like, okay, he's watching Barney, and at the time we had our golden retriever Pooh Bear, and Pooh Bear was a really good babysitter, so I knew, that, and I had Pooh Bear with him. And Pooh Bear comes upstairs whenever the kids were doing, especially Josh, was doing something he wasn't supposed to do, which happened often. Pooh Bear would come up to me and she'd do this. Back and forth. I'd be like, it's okay, thank you, sweetie. I'll go. And I go down there, and he has climbed up onto the bookshelf, and he's climbed up the bookshelf, and he's grabbed the video. It was a VHS video of his first birthday, and he has it, and he's ripped it, and he's destroyed the video, and immediately, of course, I'm like, no, and I'm crying, and I do what anyone would do. I call my husband and Jeff says this. Well, he's 3, and these things are going to happen. Okay, fine. Called my sister. Oh, sweetie, I'm so sorry. That's what I needed to hear, right? And it was about that time when I learned these words. I created these words myself. If it helps you someday when you're in a serious relationship or you're married, then good. It's this. It's not his fault. He's a boy. And it's just really true. Men and women are different. And we can't expect, we as women can't expect men to be women, and men, you can't expect women to be men. We are different. We were created differently. Understand the unique differences between men and women. Respect each other. And both girls and guys should be demonstrating godly character, not only in their own lives, but in the way they treat one another. you all know that I thought Jeff was really cute before we even met, before he even knew who I was, actually. But the day that this is what was happening the day that he decided he wanted to ask me out. I was hosting at my parents' cabin, lake cabin, a party for the young adults group at our church, ostensibly where we met. And I figured Jeff would be coming, so I told my dad I wasn't going to ski. And because that would involve the babies. And so he didn't come, so finally I said, Daddy, I want to go ski. And I'm in the water, I've got my ski in the air, and I'm ready to say hit it, when Jeff comes walking down the beach. And he says, is this a shoot for Wide World of Sports? And I said, only if I get up, which I did, even though I was very nervous. And later that night, we were in the cabin playing Trivial Pursuit. I wasn't trying to impress him. I wasn't trying. We were just there, talking and chatting and playing this game. And that was when he decided that he was interested in getting to know me better in that group situation. And oftentimes it's in group settings where we can see the true person. Because dating or one-on-one times, they're trying to put the best version of them. And I'm not saying that's wrong. I'm just saying they're putting forward the best version of themselves. That's not who they really are. It might be part of who they really are, but they're going to hide those things. Try to hide those things. If they don't, and really run away. As in group situations, you can really get to know a person and their priorities and their character. I think I've told you that we were just early on dating, and a couple came that had been at our church before, and I didn't know them. And Jeff walked up to them and started talking to them and asked them specific questions about their children, about where they were living. You knew where they were living now, and all these things about these people. And he was more interested in hearing how they were doing than talking, which never occurs to me. And I thought, wow, this is a nice guy. That he's concerned about these people. But it's in those groups. So I don't be in a hurry. You're teenagers. And likely, for most of you, I would assume, you're pretty far away from the altar. Don't be in a hurry. 35 years goes really quickly. But you've got the rest of your lives to be married to someone. And so don't be in a hurry. Learn to be friends. Take your time and get to know people. Don't do what I call 0 to 60. Girls tend to do this more than guys, especially like 8th grade, 9th grade, 10th grade. You don't even really know the guy. I love him, and you don't really haven't really gotten to know each other yet. But you're just, and I was that way too. I wasn't in love with the guy. I was in love with the idea of being in love, and that's unhealthy to do. So don't do 0 to 60. I think we have enough time to watch this video, and it's a young couple who is. Nope, I got to get the other place. Who's fairly newly married, giving some advice. That's interesting. You're going to see some of Mark Gungor as a city.
In your life, and your attention, you want to see people who are really going to have your best interest at heart.
Well, I'm Brandon, and I grew up in a very Christian home. My parents were here this weekend, and I like to look at them as the Leave It to Beaver family. So they always brought us to church. I became a Christian when I was about 5, and had been reading devotions to me at night all the time when I was a child. But I remember going through high school and not wanting to be a part of that. I had a relationship with God, but I kind of strayed a bit. And I remember that my dating relationships were never healthy. I never dated more than 2 months at a time. I think the longest was 2 months before I met Kristen, and other than that, was there probably 2 weeks, 3 weeks, something like that. So I had the typical guy way of dealing with relationships. When I went into IU, I kind of rededicated my life to Christ before I did. But I realized that I could change my life when I got there, that this is a new beginning for me. And when I got to IU, I realized that I can live for God now. The thing is, I didn't surround myself with people that wanted to help me in my own relationship with Christ. I rather went out and decided to live on my own for Christ. I would try to have devotions. I didn't go to church, but I would try to pray every night and do the right things. And sure enough, I was in the same situation in unhealthy relationships. And that's where I came to a point after my sophomore year, and I rededicated my life again. I found a group, Greek InterVarsity, which was in a Time magazine article, and I started finding some fellowship. And it was at that point that God started working on my heart and showing me more of what a healthy relationship was. And it was my junior year, and I started falling back in my old ways. I dated a couple girls at the same time, and God hit me on the head, and He said, "Stop doing that." So I decided not to date again until it was His time for me to date again. And I needed to work on my own relationship with Christ before I was mature enough to work on any relationship with a girl. So that's kind of my beginnings of dating. That's a pretty synopsis, but do you have anything?
And I had kind of the opposite. I was the long-term girl. I had a boyfriend in high school for 2 years, my freshman and sophomore year, and then dated someone my senior year and into my freshman year of college. So both were non-Christians, and I had the mindset of, I'm the missionary dating girl. I can convert them to Christianity, and didn't quite work. But it really wasn't until I got my walk straight with Christ that I was like, I don't need to be in this type of relationship, because as we were talking about, even friendships, those type of relationships aren't good. So I did the same type of thing that Brandon did, and I didn't date actually for 3 years after my freshman year. We met our junior year and started dating into our senior year. But I mean, the main point in this is I had to get my relationship with Christ on track first before I could be dating somebody or really even having that any sort of focus in my life. I wanted my focus to be Christ. So that really had to be my highest priority. And I think, Brandon had this different scenario, but basically along the same lines. We had to get our walk straight with Christ first. So, a little bit.
Could you talk a little bit about the idea of guarding the heart? And I know that's an issue, especially for girls, but also for guys.
Yeah, that was one thing that I really am thankful for that God helped me with, especially in college. When I broke up with my boyfriend, after my freshman year of college, I went to, I don't know if you all have heard of Kanakuk. It's a Christian sports camp out in Missouri. And that was just a really good time for me to reflect on my past dating relationships, the kind of guy I was looking for, and the kind of guy that God wanted me to be with. And from that point on, I actually made a list of qualities that I was looking for in a guy. I wrote them down, and I still have them today, and I was able to share that with Brandon on our wedding night, which is kind of funny because God actually fulfilled every desire that I had for a guy that I wanted to be with for the rest of my life. And I really, in college, was very, very careful with my heart because it had been kind of played with in high school, and I really didn't want to get into that type of situation again. So really the way that I guarded it was I really did not get into any sort of intimate situation with a guy. I had a lot of guy friends, but was very, very careful with what I shared with them. I really didn't, I always thought guys probably thought all I was just this fun, outgoing girl, and I had no depth to me because I didn't want to share really any sort of intimacy, even if it was just emotional intimacy with them, because I just wanted to be very careful. So.
You guys maybe Brandon talk about your marriage now.
Oh, sure. Yes. First off, your wife is always right. No, there's a lot. And you know what? We're still dealing with a lot of mistakes that we've made in the past. Chris and I both had the opportunity to save ourselves from marriage, but we were involved in different relationships with different people that weren't healthy, and that has definitely affected our marriage. And there's something that Chris and I realize is we need to always focus on our relationship with Christ. I am supposed to be her leader, her spiritual leader in that aspect. And a lot of times I'm so selfish that I don't realize that. And I don't see what her walk is doing. And I don't ask good questions about how her walk is going. Or I don't want to really reach out and help her. And there are times where she's the same way. She sees me, and it's easy to not want to help the other person grow. Marriage is a huge step. And personally, I wasn't looking to get married until maybe 30, 35. I was thinking a very young girl at that point. But that's what my immature ways were. It was. That's what my friends and I would joke about. But, and honestly, I never wanted to marry a girl that was in the InterVarsity chapter with me, because I didn't want people to look at me and think, he's just here to meet a girl. But God blessed me with Kristen in my life. And he made it clear that we're to be together. But he's still growing a lot in our life. I don't know if this is completely answering your question, but there's a whole lot of issues. And it's fun to learn together. Fun to learn together how to love each other, because love isn't just a deep feeling that you have for each other, where, oh, I'm so in love. Love has to do with a lot of service and a lot of sacrifice and a lot of hardship. And that's something that Chris and I are still learning today. I think we'll learn it for the rest of our life.
We started learning the Christian worldview. Hopefully you know it. I know you all know your anchors.
Yeah, I think we'll stop here for today. We'll give it
Bye, guys.